Hello, everyone. Let's just wait a couple more minutes for more people to join us. Let's give it like 3-4 minutes more, and then we can begin. All right, we're 12 already. Let's wait a couple minutes more for more people to join. Just keep joining. All right, we're 13 already. I think we can begin. Okay, so thank you. Luis, can you hear me? Can you please check your audio?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Perfect. Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, well, thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us at our second webinar with our friends and partners of Entre Tramites. During this webinar, we're going to talk about student e-residency and how it is for Spanish residents, more specifically for Spanish tax residents. Today, we have with us Luis Williams, who is the CEO and co-founder of Entre Tramites. Entre Tramites is well, Luis, if you want to, I'm pretty sure that you're better at presenting yourself and your company.
Very happy to be here. So Luis, Entre Tramites, we're an asesoría and law firm, or an accounting and law firm. We cover everything boring in Spain and everything which you don't want to deal with. So whether it's immigration, tax, or accounting, we're here to help. And we happen to know a little bit about Estonia and the interaction between Estonia and Spain, which is an area which lots of local accountants might struggle with. So I'm here to explain a little bit about the interchange between the Estonia and Spain side. But first off, Manuel will be detailing a bit more about Estonia, what you need to know.
Thank you, Luis, and thank you for being here. Yeah, well, today we're going to talk about Estonia, about e-residency, the advantages of having a company in Estonia, and why choosing this country as a entrepreneurship paradise and bureaucratic paradise. Not necessarily against Spain, but how to find a proper and functional solution while being a tax resident in Spain and not having all your activity or substance in Spain, and more specifically when you are not a Spanish citizen and you are navigating your way around Spanish bureaucracy, Estonia and the Estonian e-residency program is definitely a great solution and a great fit for you. First, let's talk a little bit about Estonia. Estonia, it's a very small country in the Baltics. It's been 32 years now that it's re-independent from the USSR. The total area of Estonia, it's 1/11th part of the size of Spain. So maybe you can have a proportional idea of the size of Estonia. It's more or less like the size of Catalonia alone. The currency, it's euro since 2011. It's a member of the EU, NATO, and OECD. And it's been ranked in the past 5 years as #1 in fiscal transparency, in the tax competitiveness, and the ease of doing business. When Estonia got independent again, being a very small country, they really never had a chance to exploit like natural resources or being a tourist attraction. So what they found as a solution is technology and blockchain. In 2001, they started with the e-Estonia or e-governance, which means that all its digital infrastructure is based on blockchain. Therefore, it's 100% secure. It's transparent at the same time and easy to access, but it's secure and it's based on blockchain. Let's talk about e-residency, a program that started 10 years ago. What e-residency is and what e-residency is not. E-residency, it's a digital identity. It's an official document issued by the Estonian government, which gives you access. It's like a key. It gives you access to Estonia's digital infrastructure and digital services. One of them being access to the business register of Estonia, to the tax authorities portal, and digital banking. It's a secure digital signature. All documents in Estonia are digitally signed and encrypted. So your Estonian ID card gives you, enables you to sign digitally and encrypt all your documents. And also it gives you, it makes you part of a digital community of e-residents of already close to 120,000 e-residents across the world. What e-residency is not a travel document. It's not a visa, a residency permit. It's not a citizenship. It's also not a tax residency, which is also something very important that we're going to be talking about throughout the webinar. And it doesn't give you access immediately or automatically to a bank account in Estonia, nor the EU. The timeline or the road to apply for e-residency. The application is done online. It's fairly easy. It's done in probably 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Once you apply, it's like opening like a LinkedIn account. You will be asked to prompt your personal details, submit some, upload passport or digital ID, proof of address, and your CV or your LinkedIn profile. Then after 2 weeks, more or less, you will receive an email for you to choose a pickup location, which you will be asked to go personally and physically to pick up your e-residency card. And the cost is 120 euros as a state fee. The card is valid for 5 years, and every 5 years it needs to be renewed. The document is issued by the Estonian Police and Border Guard Control, and they review all the applications. They check for they do a due diligence on you, and they check on criminal records and some background, like, for example, like being a politically exposed person, these kind of things. Once you apply, till the moment that you are requested to go to the pickup location you chose since the beginning, it might be like between 3 to 6 weeks. Today, we are close to 120,000 e-residents from more than 170 countries around the world. We have successfully established also almost 30,000 companies in Estonia through e-residency. This means that every 1 out of 5 companies in Estonia are being established and managed by e-residents. Probably most of them are people who have never been to Estonia, and they don't need to go to Estonia at all. Spain is been in the top 10 countries for e-residency. We can see there Russia right now, due to obvious reasons, due to the conflict, as Russian citizens or residents are being banned. But Spain is thriving. It's close to be between the top 3 countries for number of e-residents, but it's definitely leading the number of companies registered through e-residency. So Ukraine has the most e-residents, but number of companies in Estonia is 2,380 companies, while Spain is 2,431 companies. Among the most popular business activities in Estonia, it's obviously software development. It's an IT paradise. It's an IT hub. So software development, IT services are among the top 5 activities in Estonia. Management and consulting, e-commerce, wholesale or retail. For example, being an Amazon seller or running your own shop. It's also one of the top 3 activities in Estonia. Imports and exports, digital marketing, advertising, or marketing consulting services. Financial services, except insurance and pensions or managing third parties' funds, it's also allowed. If you need to manage, or if you're planning to manage third parties' funds, this can be done as well, but you will need to have a license in Estonia. Same for cryptocurrency, for example. Tourism activities, publishing, audiovisuals, education, online courses. It's pretty hot also. Management services, like, again, advisory or consultancy. And it's also a great solution, which lately has been thriving for creative industries, arts, musicians, audiovisuals. It's also a good solution. Some of the advantages of having a company in Estonia. Well, first of all, it gives you access to a network and ecosystem, and business ecosystem of nearly 30,000 companies and 120 e-residents from 170 different countries, all of them mind alike, with an entrepreneurial mindset. People who believe that there's no borders anymore, especially when it comes to business, and that they don't want to be stopped or obstaclized by bureaucracy or the excess of bureaucracy. The company registration takes 2 days, between 1 to 2 days. Actually, Estonia has a Guinness record of registering a company in 15 minutes, 42 seconds, something like that. It is bureaucracy free. That's why at the beginning we said that it was a bureaucratic paradise. It's not a tax paradise. It is a bureaucratic paradise because everything is done entirely online. I think there's probably only 3 or 4 procedures that you will need to do that cannot be done digitally. That is getting married and obviously getting divorced. You will need 2 parties' consent for that in person. Everything else or business related is done entirely online. About 2 years ago, they also launched the e-notary. So, for example, if you need to do something with notary, like adding a shareholder, a partner, a co-founder, or giving shares to someone else, or selling your company, you can do it also online. It's a great gateway to start, expand, and grow your business paperless and 100% remotely, regardless where you are located. About taxes, one of the most attractive parts of having an Estonian company, it is its fiscal framework. there's a 0% corporate tax on distributed profits, which means if your company, at the end of the fiscal year of your company, if you had some profit from the revenue and you decide to reinvest that money in the company, then your company won't be paying any taxes. There's a difference that we're also going to be discussing later on about the company's tax residency versus your own company versus your own tax residency. Also, most of the business updates and legal changes of the company, like adding board members, employees, legal representatives, takes between 1 to 5 business days tops, and the state fee is always flat. It's always 25 euros to pay. And you don't need like a lawyer or anything else or anything more complicated to do these kind of updates and changes. Simplification of online tax reports. All the tax reports, VAT reports, annual reports, they don't take more than 10 to 5 minutes to submit. It's very easy. While you do, well, we strongly suggest you to get a local accountant, a local professional to handle the bookkeeping and accounting of your company on a monthly basis. You are also welcome to do it yourself. There's a lot of tutorials on YouTube. There's also a free platform in Estonian to do your own accounting. But it's really easy and it's very transparent and it's easy to understand, especially when you're a first-time entrepreneur. What kind of companies you can set up in Estonia? The OÜ, which is a LLC, a limited liability company, or an SL, the equivalent of an SL in Spain. It can be founded with only one shareholder. If you want more shareholders, we strongly advise you for them to be also e-residents, since their digital signature will be needed at some point. It will be better if they are e-residents from the beginning, or when they are adopted to the company, they already have an e-residency, and we can do that through e-notary. It's a great way to internationalize your company and expand your operations internationally. Estonian companies, they don't have to only make business between or among Estonian companies. They can work as any other European or company. They can work with worldwide providers, suppliers, and clients. Plus, you also access the EU market. If you are not based in the EU, you enter the EU market, and you have access to Estonian grants and funds and EU grants and funds. About who we are. GrouHub, it's us, an e-residency services provider that was founded by an e-resident and managed by e-residents for e-residents. I am not Estonian. I am Mexican and Spanish. I live between Estonia and Spain, in Barcelona. So I understand what it means to manage a company remotely, to start a company in a country that probably most of you don't know or are not familiarized with. So we empathize with e-residents, because we are e-residents also ourselves, and we believe in personalization of our services. We like to be involved with your project to see you grow. We were starting to organize some e-residents meetup. Last week we had one in Madrid. We're gonna have another one in Barcelona. We're gonna have another one next month in Milano. So we like to create a community feeling between our clients and our partners. GrouHub, it's grow. It's the growth of an OÜ, meaning that we bring the power of growth to every digital entrepreneur. What do we do and how we do it? We offer company registration for 449 euros plus VAT. That includes the 265 state fee for registration. This is a one-time payment. This includes the legal address and contact person services. These two are mandatory services for all e-resident companies to have. You will need to have a legal address, a virtual office in Estonia, and an authorized contact person, which means it's our company who is the contact person, and we are appointed by your company to represent you locally in Estonia. We can incorporate companies starting from one shareholder or multiple shareholders. And also we support numerous kind of business plans, business models, except cryptocurrency, gambling, and some financial services that are too risky either for us and also for the country. And how we do it is through monthly plans. All our monthly plans includes the legal address and contact person. They include also the VAT reports, which in Estonia are due monthly, and the annual report it's done once a year. We appoint a designated personalized accountant to your company, so you won't be working with a dashboard or a chatbot. You will be having an appointed accountant. And we offer also an invoicing software and ongoing personalized support. Other services like VAT registration, EORI for exports and imports, and lane number. The lane number is if your company wants to start being involved in financial markets, for example, having some investments in ETFs, cryptocurrency, in Binance or things like that. You will be required to have a lane number. We also have lawyers in our team, so legal services in Estonia are also offered. Annual reports, company documents if they need to be apostilled and or notarized, and also company liquidation, something that is not the best thing to do, but it happens, and when it's needed, it's better to have your company closed by a professional and someone that makes sure that there's no liability getting back to you in the future. We also support holding companies. Today, we're more than 170 digital entrepreneurs, part of GrouHub from 42 different countries. Your company in Estonia in 4 simple steps. It's becoming a new resident, registering your company in 1-2 days max, choosing your service plan, and focus on your clients while we do the rest. We want you to focus on your company's growth, on the important things like your clients, like your suppliers, not to handle the headaches and the boring stuff like the legal and accounting stuff. We'll do that part for you. These are our service plans. We have 3: the starter plan, light, and plus. They all fit different sizes of companies and volumes. Either you're a professional services provider or an e-commerce. The difference between them is the number of invoices included per month. They all include all the basic and mandatory services are included: virtual office, contact person, annual report, and ongoing personalized support. They all include and support different bank accounts and currencies, payment platforms like Stripe, PayPal, e-commerce. You can have an account with Shopify, with WooCommerce, Alibaba, Amazon seller, the accounting and invoicing software. OSS reports are done quarterly, and dividends and payroll compliance. What we're creating is a hub of different partners that we know will add value to our clients, companies' growth and development. One of them, it's Entre Tramites for sure. Emerald Foundry, they are business consultants. Musa Studio, they are a graphic studio based in Barcelona. Op Legal, our team of lawyers. And for banking, we strongly always suggest to go either with Wise or Revolut Business. Now I'm gonna pass the word to Luis for Entre Tramites.
Thank you. So you can hear me? All good? All good. So just to kick off, we're going to just give a quick overview of who we are and what we do. I don't want to bore you too much in this. So Manuel, if we can go to the next slide. So as said right at the beginning of this call, we're pretty much the place for everything you do not want to do in Spain. We cover from accounting to immigration to company incorporation, and among these more services that you see there are also any other legal services you can think of. We're an asesoría, a law firm, and we are fully online. So we cover the whole of Spain online. However, there's a little bit more back and forth with emails with funcionarios than, let's say, on the Estonian side. And going digital and going online there definitely means, well, that means occasionally you can call and you can write in and hope for a response in 7 days. It's not quite as dynamic as the Estonian side. But what do we do? We've got monthly accounting for the self-employed. So this is for autonomos. This starts at 37 euros plus VAT per month, up to 5 invoice and expenses, 53 euros plus VAT, up to 30 invoice and expenses, and then the gold plan of like 66 euros plus VAT per month. So for self-employment, there's no onboarding or setup fee. For limited companies, excluding payroll or any payslips, we're looking at 100 euros a month plus VAT. If you want to have employees on payroll, your first employee is going to cost you 35 euros and then 12 euros in addition. If you've got any need, any help, we're trying to be I've just got a pop-up which just came in here asking me what language I'm speaking because I think it's trying to write it down. Sorry about that. I am speaking English. Right. Goodbye. So on that side, got company incorporation with the limited company. We can help you get set up in Spain if you need an SL, if you've got activities here in Spain. But quite commonly, what we collaborate with Manuel on is quite often people have got an O in Estonia, limited company, and we cover the self-employed accounting. Your registration is on autonomo here. We also cover income tax returns and tax advice, among many other parts. So if you've got any questions or digital nomad visas or any of the like, please let us know. Okay. Now let's get on to the interesting bit, not the services, the bit you guys wanted to understand. How does it work being a Spanish tax resident and having your company in Estonia? So the first and most essential concept, which you guys must understand first off, is the concept of substance. You can't set up a company and just dump all your profits, all your earnings there and never touch it and just gradually offshore it and build it up because there are international regulations against effectively tax offshoring. However, you can have a limited company in another country. And depending on your suppliers, different elements, which we're going to touch on in more detail, you can leave some profits in that Estonian entity. Now, the nice advantage, which Manuel was laying out, is that you've got a 0% corporation tax on any reinvested profits. However, one of the critical parts of it is if you are delivering work for your Estonian OU, you do need to, from Spain, you do need to register as self-employed in Spain. If you do not register as self-employed in Spain and you are profitable with lots of development going on with an e-resident company, you could get investigated by Seguridad Social or the tax authorities here in Spain. That does not mean you need to re-invoice everything you have. Why? Your tax residency is in Spain. It's not in Estonia. Under the double tax agreements between you and Estonia, the interesting factor is you've got two different ways of being paid from Estonia. You can invoice your limited company in Estonia and receive this in the form of invoiced contracting income. So your facturas, they get paid. So let's say your Estonian company makes 30,000 euros this year. If you invoice across, let's say they have 5,000 of other expenses, so they've got 25,000 euros of profit. If you invoice 15,000 euros, that is another expense. So for the Estonian company, that's a cost. But in Spain, you need to pay taxes on that 15,000 euros, which you are bringing as salary in Spain. Now, the alternative way to distribute funds from an OU is to pay dividends. So with dividends, you would pay the Estonian corporation tax rate, which at the moment is 20%, but with some potentiality of moving up to 22, at the point of paying a dividend. So let's say you had 10,000 euros left over because we've paid 15,000 as an invoice, 5,000 of expenses, and you've got 10,000 of profit. So of that 10,000 of profit, if you pay that as a dividend, you'll pay 20% corporation tax in Spain, and then not in Spain, sorry, 20% corporation tax in Estonia, and then
Yeah.
in Spain, because your tax residency is in Spain, you would pay IRPF del base de euro, so the savings tax rate of 19 to 23%. You'd pay, let's say on average, a 21% tax then on that income. So of the 10,000 euros, 2,000 would be paid in Estonia, 8,000, which comes out as a gross dividend. Of that 8,000, 21% or 1,680 euros is paid in dividend tax, leaving you with an effective tax rate of around 37%. This is the reason why, if you're looking to pull out your money all the time, pay out as dividends or salary, it's not necessarily the most tax advantage part, but it gives you limited protection and is very easy for deductible expenses and contractors and the like, so that you can build your business up. So the real benefit, as mentioned by Manuel right at the beginning, is having a bit of bureaucratic freedom, which allows easy deductibility of expenses, easy collaboration, which can allow other parts. But critically, you must either pay yourself by invoicing as an autonomo or paying out dividends. Those dividends can be restricted by substance rules, which we'll touch on in a bit more detail in a second. But first, I'd like to transfer across to Manuel for any points he'd like to add.
Yeah, about, for example, the permanent establishment, which is about creating substance. It's been a question, and I think there's also a lot of material online and blog posts online about permanent establishment and CFC rules. Of a lot of fear about Spanish hacienda, which I think we all understand why. But permanent establishment is about substance. First of all, your company at first your company will always have an Estonian tax residency. It is about contributing to that substance and founding that tax residence in Estonia. How? By not having all your clients and suppliers being Spanish, meaning not all your activity being held in Spain. Otherwise, your company must and probably will be considered as a Spanish tax resident, and Spanish authorities will ask you to report that Estonian company in Spain and set up a proper Spanish company. How to create a substance in Estonia, either by having Estonian employees, Estonian resident employees, having more activity or operations, transactions with other OUs or Estonian companies, or having an office, a rental office in Estonia. Otherwise, yes, I think while dividends, it might be tax attractive, you only get your money once a year at the end of the fiscal year, and if there was any profit, a great way to do it, which Luis will explain in the next slides, would be being registered as an autonomo. That way you can have your money on a more regular basis and keep being compliant both with your Estonian company, with Estonian law and Spanish law.
Yes, exactly. And just because there's a question which has just popped up, which is actually perfect on this one. Can we handle an Estonian company as a direct
Yeah, that's a
employee
good question.
instead of autonomous? Now, the problem you face here is if you don't have residency working rights in Estonia, you can't be an employee. As such, you get treated as an autonomo from a tax perspective because your labor relation is based on where you as a physical person are. As such, and the other thing is you don't necessarily want to be registered as an employee. Many people complain about how much social security costs an autonomo, but it's a lot cheaper than employee social security. The employee social security in Spain is 32% on the employer and 7% on the employee. So if you're paying both of those, you're suddenly paying a much higher tax rate on social security than you would be paying as an autonomous. Exactly. For most income levels, double, triple. And so what people often do when they're starting up an entity and they're just beginning is they don't necessarily register as an autonomo until they start drawing out income from the company. So while they're building up and just initiating. Now, this is an area which is slightly circumspect in the way that the Spanish tax authorities could query it. As long as you are invoicing nearer the end of the year within the same tax period, the Spanish tax authorities are very unlikely to challenge it. And Social Security doesn't have too much remit on this area. But critically, if you want to pull out the money and not pay it out as dividends, yes, you do need to register legally as self-employed in whichever jurisdiction you are living and working. And it's actually cheaper than registering as an employee.
Registering as an employee of your company in Estonia, it's possible under two conditions, or two different scenarios or forms of employment. The first one is a director's fee, board members fee, which will pay 20% personal income tax in Estonia, which you are not a tax resident in Estonia, but since the company is considered to be managed from Estonia, then the board members fee will always pay personal income tax in Estonia, and Social Security of 33% in Estonia, unless that you have an A1 form and you can prove that you are registered for Social Security in other European country, in this case Spain, then your Estonian company can pay the Social Security, your Social Security in Spain.
I think I just realized there's another reason for the question here. Just reading the follow-up. Critical thing when we talk about migration, the need to have work permits in your country of residence. An Estonian company can hire a foreign employee, yes, but in order for you to be hired as a foreign employee, you need to set up basically a labor representative office or a sweatshop, it's kind of called, that's the term within it. So the Estonian, and for that you need to sponsor a visa and sponsor a highly qualified visa or something along those lines. If you've need questions on immigration parts in Spain, I can highly recommend, I know we've got tax links here, but I can pass a link in the menu for an immigration consultation, because what the Estonian company can be quite useful on the immigration side is if you build up enough income in an Estonian company, you can use that as evidence to apply for the digital nomad visa and thereby work as self-employed from Spain. But it's not an easy path to get work permits as an employee through an Estonian entity. The opportunity is much more on digital nomad visa. So if you're looking at it as a way to get around Spanish migration restrictions, it's not the easiest. It is quite a common solution used while people are waiting for their tarjeta comunitaria, if they've got a partnership visa with somebody in Spain, to use an Estonian company or similar to invoice their clients and keep operating while they wait to get their working rights. But it's not an easy way to register as an employee of an Estonian entity and then get employment rights in immigration rights in Spain. We've kind of been following into the questions. I've just realized.
There's a question from Melissa that I'm pretty sure that we'll answer in the next slides. But as a short answer, and probably this applies to everyone, is that it depends. It depends of how much of activity and substance you have in Spain, meaning all your clients, providers, suppliers are based in Spain, or if you have international clients or stakeholders. And it also depends on the amount that you are invoicing or doing as an autonomo a month. Because as an autonomo, you're paying your taxes, IRPF and Social Security on the amount, on top of the amount that you make every month, regardless of you choosing how much of it you pay. So just bear with us for the next slides. I'm pretty sure you'll get it differently. Should we go to the next one, Luis?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Okay, so to give a bit of an idea, let's say that you've got your clients, you invoice in their income into your Estonian. Oh, apologies for my formatting. It's a little less attractive than what Manuel had above. So then you've got some expenses. Those expenses are what go out to your suppliers. Now, if you see in the red little bubble, we got 0%. That's showing that all the profits that you retain effectively within the Estonian OL and don't distribute, you pay a 0% corporation tax on it. Now, you want to get some money out of your Estonian OL. What happens? Next slide. Oh, sorry, I can control it. I forgot that. I'll do it. All good. Sorry. Bingo. So you set up as an autonomo in Spain. You invoice your Estonian OU for parts of the profits. Now, of that income, you need to pay income tax to the Hacienda, the tax agency, and social security to Seguridad Social, the social security officer. Now, this is while you're retaining over here on the right, you're retaining a little bit of retained profits within the Estonian OU. Let's think of a practical case of this. Your clients pay you 60,000 euros. You have 60,000 euros of revenue. You have 20,000 euros of expenses related to your suppliers. As you have some level of cost to do with your suppliers, some in Estonia, some outside, this allows you under cost plus attribution to leave some profits within the Estonian OU. The amount and share you can leave within the Estonian OU varies depending on your level of substance. It's not just like you've got a registered office, now you can leave 100 million euros there. It really depends on how much income you actually have to determine what you pay on how much profits you can retain within Estonian OU. Now, of that 40,000 euros of profits, so 60,000 euros in income, 20,000 euros in third-party suppliers, 40,000 in margin, you invoice as an autonomo out to Spain 30,000 euros. On that 30,000 euros, you pay to the Hacienda, the tax office, 3,807 euros, and to Seguridad Social, social security and autonomo fees, 5,108 euros.
That's
so
a
this
year.
leaves you.
A year.
That's a year. That's the yearly amount. So that's a rough estimate on these different amounts. So you can kind of think of that 5.1K, 3.8K, that's adding up to 8.9K, leaving you with 21,100 euros to enjoy and 10,000 euros saved up within your Estonian OU. Now, this is one structure and you can adjust it in all ways, but in your first year, of course, as an autonomo, your social security will be a lot lower, around 1,100 euros. But I prefer to show you the more long-term social security and tax implications rather than the short-term implications.
Perhaps
you might
before
be thinking,
you go to the next one,
of course.
These 10K saved or reinvested, left to reinvest in the Estonian OU, that amount can be also invested, as I mentioned in the beginning, in financial markets. A lot of clients, they do it. I don't know, you can invest 100K in Apple stocks, and after a year or 2 years, you have, I don't know, 20% 20% profit. So that means 2,000 euros. You will pay taxes on those 2,000 euros made as a profit only at the moment that you withdraw them again as dividends. So leaving money in the Estonian company is not just money sitting there. And it doesn't have to be in the same bank account. It's just money that you are not withdrawing as dividends. That money can be moved.
Exactly. It's a great savings vehicle and reinvestment part, as long as you have true activity. If you do not have economic activity and you've just built up a load of cash there, the Estonian government can create issues and say that's really a passive investment company. But as long as you're flowing through your true business activity. Now, the most careful thing you've got to be about all of this is the amount of profit which you can save in the OU depends on your level of substance. If you have everything in Spain, realistically, clients, suppliers, everything based in Spain, you might be able to leave 5%, 10% of your profits in the OU maximum to show I'm covering some administrative costs. But pretty much everything you'll have to re-invoice out to be as an autonomo. So the level of substance is the real critical part when you're reviewing if this makes sense for me. The other area which is interesting is we talked about this on a Spanish versus Estonian perspective, but you might be thinking, I'm not sure if I'm staying in Spain. I'm thinking I might want to go travel. I might think about changing location. If your customers get used to paying into a limited entity Estonian OU, it's very easy if you then move to another country in the future and you're trialing out different parts. Potentially you're going to go and study in a different country, a different jurisdiction, and you're going to continue working on the side. The Estonian OU gives you a lot of flexibility in this regard because it gives consistency for your client. If you suddenly started invoicing with a different address every 3-6 months, your clients, do you think they're going to be that confident in you? So there's not just a tax advantage element, there's more of a, let's call it marketing element, which is often ignored.
Give it more formality to your activities as well.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go on a slightly different one. This is, does anybody actually have an SL already in Spain? Just out of the audience. Anybody has an SL? You can comment in the chat bar. I'll quickly run through this depending on how much we got questions from the audience on this. So the other thing is the interest on the interest to do with the international expansion. Let's say you've got an SL which is profitable and working in your market, but you're interested in internationally expanding, serving foreign markets, hiring overseas, and you're thinking, well, actually, I'm fed up with Spanish labor law. I'm fed up with dealing with Spanish social security. I want to retain some of my profits and reinvest them. This is an area where it gets really interesting because from your Spanish SL, you can set up a separate entity for an Estonian OU for commercialization of your business and lend money in from the Spanish SL to the Estonian entity to effectively launch your economic activity. With that loan, you can then go through the following cycles. So you lend money from the profits of your SL. So let's say you're profitable within Spain, you're recycling profits. You pay your corporation tax in Spain and then lend the money to the OU. That money is used to do a market launch out in Estonia, basically. You decide to hire potentially a couple of staff in Estonia. Just a thing to highlight, Estonia has the highest educational results of anywhere in Europe, according to the PISA tables. So the relative level of human capital is very high. You can establish some substance, maybe one member staff, 2 members staff there. You then look to hire contractors in different markets you're looking to sell into. And then what happens is all those new sales start accruing within your OU. Those new sales accruals, basically any profit which you make is has 0% corporation tax and not distributed. You can therefore reinvest in either financial assets like Manuel just was talking about, or you can invest in in different forms of company expansion, marketing, sales, tech development, you name it.
Bootstrap.
Yeah. And then what basically happens is you gradually reinvest part of that. Then once you've recouped the amount you've lent in, you can then return the loan back to the limited company, to the SLA. And this allows you to create an international operating model where you can basically use it as your growth and your launch outside of Spain. This part is only relevant for people who are larger, who've got larger entities, right? This is more of a case if you've got an established business, you're looking to expand internationally, or you've got a high growth startup, you're looking to expand internationally. And Estonia is a very interesting option for growth entities, businesses which are looking for growth. While it doesn't offer the same tax benefits as, say, Ireland, when you're a very large company, when you're looking to reinvest your process and grow, there's almost no country on earth which has as good a tax system established for this. Now, I think that this is an ability if you want to book in with one of our tax team to ask any consultations. We've got paid consultations here with our tax experts in the QR code. On the immigration questions, I'll be happy to share a brief link in the chat. But I would love to start addressing any questions anybody has.
Yeah, let's have a QR session. I'll just give it a couple of minutes more if people want to get the QR code. By the way, please write an email to me or to Luis, and we're happy to share the presentation with you if you have any questions. Javi Intel, he says, my clients would be located in Spain, France, and Italy. My company is registered in Estonia, operating from Spain. Which country VAT should I put in my invoices? Well, then it would be the Estonian VAT because your company is from Estonia, regardless of where your clients are based. If you're doing e-commerce or digital services, for example, software as a service, if you exceed a threshold of 10,000 euros in each one of these markets, Spain, France, Italy, Germany, any other European country, then most likely is for you to register as a VAT liable for VAT number and VAT payer in those countries, and then have an OSS scheme, which means Estonia will be collecting all the VAT due to your different markets, and it will be paid from Estonia and reported from Estonia on a quarterly basis.
Yeah, and just adding to that, if you flip the other side, because you mentioned that you are registered as consulting services and you're doing consulting services. If you are the only one providing those services, you should then register as self-employed as an autonomo in Spain to re-invoice out to your Estonian company for a share and a proportion of that income, depending on however many other suppliers, providers, and everything on the substance questions. And on that invoice, which goes between you and your company in Estonia, you should put your DNI or NIE, with ES in front. It's very important to register under what's called the Registradores de Operativos Intercomunitarias in order to do that invoicing.
He has another question. My company is registered as consulting services. Can I also sell products as add-on to my consulting services? Yes, of course. At the moment that you registered your company, it was registered under one NACE or MTAC code, Economic Activity Code. However, at the end of when you are doing your annual report at the end of the year, your accountant will look at all the transactions, and the activity code will simply be updated towards the activity that brought more of the revenue. This means what I mean is the company in Estonia doesn't limit nor excludes you to do or to engage on any other activities like e-commerce and consulting, or I don't know, education, online courses, and Amazon seller. You can do both. You can do 3-4 activities. The only thing is, for statistical purposes, the activity code will just update automatically at the end of the year. We have more.
There's one from Melissa at the bottom.
LLC, American LLC. Can a company that is registered in Estonia do a partnership with a yes? I don't see why not. It's just that the services will be considered an export or an import, so there will be no VAT added to that invoice.
What was that question?
It was from Natalia Karasev.
I think
it was a direct message.
Others with Q&A.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you could repeat that, because none of us know what that question is.
Yeah, that if a company that is registered in Estonia can do a partnership with an American LLC, like I guess she meant these Delaware companies, right? The ones that you set up also digitally or remotely. So yeah, your Estonian company is free to engage in business with any other non-European companies as well.
Yeah, there's not an issue there. The only thing, just as a warning with LLCs, just to make people aware, because there's been a recent change also in US legislation surrounding them, which is to do with declaration of the beneficial owner and beneficial recipient. So they've tightened the rules on LLCs, basically people not knowing where it is. So with an LLC, which is the US structure, it's actually, by all other countries' standards, a partnership. What does that mean? When you set up an LLC, if you're not a US national, you sign and swear that you're paying Social Security and income tax in your country of residence as a self-employed person. So if you sign that, and then afterwards it turns out that actually you never did pay taxes on an autonomo or whatever in your jurisdiction in Spain, for instance, you would actually not just be violating Spanish law, but also US law. So one of the things which happens and got into quite fame was, okay, I'll set up a Wyoming LLC and I just won't mention all this income and earnings I've got. It's my LLC, it's not mine, it's in a US bank account, I just spend it with a card, no one knows. The US government have cottoned onto that quite aggressively. So if you are thinking, and there's some really dodgy proposals which are pushed on setting up LLCs on this. So just remember, any LLC income has to be included in your income tax return in your country of residence, and you need to pay social security on that. Okay, which is different to a limited company in Estonia, no Estonian OÜ, because it's a separate limited entity, which is not a flow-through entity. It's a separate company, whereas LLCs are flow-through entities, and as such, you could end up with a nasty tax surprise if you haven't declared your income from an LLC.
All right, we have another one from Elena Popovici. I'm comparing several companies for establishing my company in Estonia. What is your competitive advantage in comparison with Gate2Baltics OÜ? Well, I think it's our personalized service, our personalized approach, and definitely our involvement in our clients' projects and growth. The fact that we organize these kind of events for already our clients and for the e-residency community or digital entrepreneurs in Spain. We have some meetups coming in Barcelona or in Spain. We want to create like a community, and for all of us, for all our e-residents around the world to understand what other e-residents are doing, how can we also support and engage also in business with other OÜs and e-residents, therefore creating more substance for our own Estonian companies. About pricing, I believe we have also our plans. Probably they include more perks or add-ons than Gate2Baltics. And yeah, you get a designated accountant, which is appointed exclusively to for your company. Vishal?
Yeah, that one I opt out of because I can't sell.
All right.
There's just one quick one. We've got Melissa. How can we calculate our level of substance to know how much we can leave inside the OÜ? The difficulty here is this is governed by OECD rules on transfer pricing. As a general rule, if you're small in initial activities and you're thinking like 10,000 euros, nobody's really going to care. 10,000 euros type of thing per year. Once you go to higher sums of money and you've got more significant income going through, there are different rules, but basically the most common one which is used is cost plus. So you calculate the substance cost that you've got in Estonia and related areas, and you can add a margin on top of those costs and leave them within Estonia. All profit above that should be distributed by re-invoicing to your country of residence. Alternatively, if you actually hire staff there, let's say you've got a proper growth, you can end up leaving and the vast majority of any profits in there. So if you've got quite a successful growing business, if you're talking a couple of 100,000 euros plus of margin, it might be worth reviewing the possibility of hiring staff within Estonia, if it makes business sense and business logical sense to create more substance. But it's not a simple, this is your substance level I can put into a calculator. There are OECD rules which govern this. At small income levels, tax authorities won't care, but at higher levels is when they really start to consider it. And then I think the next one from Vishal is more for you, and also
Yeah.
Freelance tax costs and freelance electricity and stuff. You would deduct those within Spain. So Melissa, the parts where you got there on the freelance costs and electricity, etc. Whereas
it's not the same here. It's not the same for Estonian company. Since it's considered that your company has first of all an office in Estonia and is not being managed from Estonia, but remotely, not necessarily from one place specifically, then electricity, internet, like is very hard to prove that those are business related expenses. Also, this is a very popular question, but I think that among advisors and consultants in Estonia, the most easy explanation that we can give is it's compared to Spain it's a different culture. In Estonia, business related expenses are more restrictive than in Spain. For example, even meals like taking a client out for a dinner or for drinks or something like that cannot be put in, as a business related expense for your Estonian company. But travel expenses, if you happen to have a summit or a convention or something, or just a business trip outside your country of residence, flight tickets, accommodation, and a daily allowance of 50 euros a day, up to 15 days, can be paid from your Estonian company and deducted as business trips, business expenses. Is there anything else?
Car allowance is not a
Wonderan?
possibility, Vishal, on that one if you're not physically living in Estonia or anything else.
No.
Car allowance is one of their very common thing that lots of people look in various countries. But
Yeah.
actually, they've been clamped down upon in most jurisdictions. You have some holdouts like Germany to the car industry, which keep on giving company car benefits. But in general, car allowances have been eliminated in the vast majority of nations, except for when you really directly can show they are linked to your business activity, like mileage directly with the client, traveling direct to client site.
Yeah. Plus, the car should be matriculated in Estonia, so you will have to drive all the way to Estonia, get the plates in Estonia, and drive back to Spain, which is gonna be a hell of a trip.
Think, have you got any more in private? If not, I would say if anybody has questions, we've given you the booking link for anything on the Spanish side. Feel free to reach out, and we're here for everything boring on my side, and on everything boring to do with Estonia. Manuel?
Yeah, I'm here. Here you can see our website, our direct emails. So please, if you have any other questions, following questions, feel free to reach out to us. We'll be happy to assist you. And well, from my side, Luis, thank you very much again for being here and for your support. Happy to have you as part of the GrouHub's Partners Network. Thank you all for joining us.
Pleasure to be here. Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.